All right, now we're continuing our back to school coverage here on Show Me St. Louis. And of course, social confidence is more important than ever before. Now, Etiquette St. Louis works with students so they feel confident and comfortable at school, social events, and more. But truly, above all, teaching kids on how to be kind. And this morning, Melenie Broyles is here with 5 tips for kids and their parents when it comes to back to school manners. And I really want to first hit the fact that we're talking about kindness, and it's so fitting that Jeff Foxworthy just happens to be one of the most kindest individuals, but it's something that you start teaching from a very young age.
We sure do. And you know, I remember when my oldest daughter went off to middle school, that's a really nerve-wracking experience for a parent. And one of her teachers pulled me aside and said, hey, I just wanted to say I saw Emily in the hall today and she was smiling and talking to other kids, so she's doing okay. And I thought, you know what, these teachers are looking out for our kids and they're noticing things in the hall, not just in the classroom, but I want our parents and the kiddos as they go back to school to notice those things as well. Reaching out to other kids, seeing who might be sitting alone, who has nothing to do on the playground. So talking specifically with them, what does kind look like when they go back to school? So I have a little thing I want us to try here. This is a great thing to sit and do with your kids. It's so visual. So I want you to go ahead and take this toothpaste, open it, and empty it onto the plate.
Okay, that is easy enough.
I mean, who thought we'd do this in the morning, right? Empty the toothpaste.
I love this. I mean, usually I'm eating like chicken wings, so honestly, this is a little bit cleaner.
I know. And parents, this is a great visual. Young kids can understand this. Okay, are we about empty?
I have emptied the toothpaste. There it is. It's
awesome.
On my plate.
Okay, put it back in the tube.
Oh, well, now that's not going to work.
Right. What are you going to make? If you go to put that toothpaste back in the tube, what are you going to make?
So I'm going to try. I'm going to put an effort here. I'm going to try to put it back in.
So you're making a mess.
I'm making a mess.
Okay,
I'm making a mess. A little bit of a mess.
The toothpaste is like our words.
Yes.
We want to teach our kids to be kind when they speak and to think before they speak, because once the words are out there, sometimes we make a mess trying to clean it up. We can say, I'm sorry, we can be forgiven, but sometimes the damage has been done. And I think this is just an awesome visual for our kids to see the first week of school, to think about how they speak to their teachers, to think about how they speak to their peers as well.
That is beautiful. And it reminds me of when people tell you things, if they say something positive about you, you think, oh, thank you. But it's those negative words, right? That for some reason, it just takes one. You could get 50 positive comments, one negative word, and that's what affects you the most.
Absolutely.
So teaching them that you're going to make a mess with those words, with those, I mean, that's something that they'll take even beyond school.
Right, it translates into the workplace.
It's very much so, very much so.
So kindness. So we also want them to make good introductions. Practice with them. Practice having them say, hi, my name is Melanie. Practice having them introduce the new student that moved to the school to another new student. Encourage them to make those introductions. So if they do that on purpose, they'll be able to include kids that maybe are new to the school.
Perfect. Okay, what else do we have for our manners?
So we want our kids to be respectful to their teachers. So we want them when they come into the school environment, if parents want to, I don't know, if they have questions about something going on at school, maybe talk to the teacher about it. Don't do that in front of your kids. I think that's a big deal so that they know how to be respectful to the teachers. Yes. I also want our kids to know that they are not the supervisors of the playground. Parents, you know this story, right? When your child comes home and she says, well, I didn't get to do this game because so-and-so said I couldn't. Well, who is so-and-so? Talk to your kids. They don't necessarily instinctively know this when they go back to school, so talk to them ahead of time and say, if somebody wants to play, let them play. You don't get to decide. But make sure that they truly understand that. I also want your kiddos to look for somebody who doesn't have somebody to play with on the playground, right? There's a new kid there, there's maybe a kid that's coming back, maybe a kid that's been virtual, and they don't necessarily, that interacting isn't as easy. So while the teachers are looking out for that, I want the students to look out for that. Who doesn't have someone to sit with at lunch? And I know like elementary and middle school teachers really look out for that and maybe do assigned seats the first week, but look for somebody who doesn't have someone to play with, and look for somebody who doesn't have somebody to sit with at lunch. And that goes up through high school. Think about that.
And you know, I just was actually talking with the school therapist who had told me the biggest thing that they see in these young kids is they don't feel loved.
You know, I think that they want somebody to appreciate who they are, and I think if we talk to our kids and we say, you know, you don't have to be best friends with everybody. You are gonna be drawn to kids that you have something in common with, but it is literally all about how we treat them. And I have always believed throughout this entire business, it's really been about how we treat people and how we make other people feel. So we have to sit down though and talk to our kids ahead of time. They just don't instinctively have these skills. And so we have to say, if this happens, do this. If this happens, do this.
Yes, yes. Wow, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Go ahead and take a look at your screen. Etiquette St. Louis. There are fall manners classes beginning in November. Again, this is at the Missouri Athletic Club. Classes for girls, boys, and teens. You can find their website right there. This was incredible. You've inspired me. Do something kind today, everyone. on Do Something Kind today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.